What is up, legends? It's Scion. We are back, and we're going to discuss the most fun thing in Astral Chronicles, and that's making a build for your main character. At least for me. That's subjective. I'm not going to take away fun from whatever else you like in this game, but for me, it's making a build for my character, and the fact that you have 5 different classes that you can do that with. But before that, I'd like to thank everybody who's been giving a like. So definitely, if you like the video, like everything, give me a like. Sub if you want to keep continuing to get content. We always do new reviews close to every day. I try to do it every day if there's something to actually review. Some days I'll just skip and do games that I continuously cover, but majority of the time it's going to be, a new review every day. So making a class, making a job build. Let's just say let's make a build. All right. So one of the best things again about this is the fact of how cool your main character actually is. I think people don't really pay attention to how cool the main character is. Now, he pretty much has the same skill or power that All For One has. He's even called All For One from My Hero Academia. What he can pretty much do is any character that you bring, that you get from a summon, those characters come with skills, and he can absorb those skills and then use those skills as his own. And as you get further along in your mastery, as you can see right here, it gets a higher level of that skill. So he's level 5 right now. So as you can see, All For One, learn and use all skills of the same class companions and upgrading the required talent skills to level 5. So they now become level 5, whatever skill you absorb. So going back to all of this, I decided that, okay, so I want to make a certain build, and we're going to use tank, for example. And these are the skills that I went ahead and did. So my basic skill is pretty much Thunder Fang. Taunts enemies ahead, dealing a small amount of damage, increase and block. Extremely useful. I like it. I'm trying to stay with the Thunder theme for him because, Scion, Storm, Thunder, Lightning, Storm. All right. My ultimate is the only one I have right now. We're working on a new one. I'm going to explain that in a second as well. Magic Ring Rays. It's kind of cheesy. Cooldown's 50 seconds. Deals a large amount of light damage. Instant targets in the area, blinds them, and it lasts for 3 seconds. It kind of makes them a little bit staggered and helps out on defense. Well, it helps out. You take less damage over that course of time, but it also does a good deal of damage. Suppression. Deals a certain amount of fire damage to a nearby target in a medium area and taunts them. You can get taunts in this game, and most of the taunts usually will not do any damage. I like the taunts that do damage, and this has a good area of effect, so anything around him is just going to take it, and then it comes and attacks him. Like I said, I always want to do damage. I don't want to have a skill come out there and not do anything, because that lowers your DPS, believe it or not. You need to have damage per second. And if you're taunting and standing there and then waiting for stuff to come in, you're not swinging, you're not doing any skills, so that lowers your DPS. I don't like stuff like that. It's just a me thing. Magnetrick. Deals a large amount of thunder damage to enemies in a medium area and inflicts weaken. Again, weaken makes them do lower damage. Again, helps out with tanking, and if they're off running around doing anything else, like, it screws them. And this has a very quick cooldown. Overclock. Now, this is subjective, and maybe I might do it, put something else, but successful blocks have a chance to deal a large amount of thunder damage to nearby targets in a small area. Again, helping with tanking, keeping your aggro, and just a lot of DPS through my front row right here. So my passives. My first passive is increase base physique by 20%. That's your HP. Physique, is your the HP of your character. As you see, mine is at 9,000 right now. Paralysis, increase block by 20%, which is just a raw stat, which is fine. Increase defense of all equipment by 12% in combat. Now, another thing about paralysis, that also works well with successful blocks, as you can see right there. So that works well with this. It's a good one. I'm going to show you something else as well. Armor Master is pretty much just a raw defense buff to all my gear that I'm wearing right now. Critical strikes recover HP on the damage dealt, which is good. I don't critical a lot, but I critical enough that I can get some good damage out on that and heal myself. Plus, the criticals work on anything you do. So the block damage criticals sometimes, the little small things that I put out of all these attacks up here, they all have a chance to critical, so they all work out pretty well. And then finally, each successful block will cause 16% piercing damage, which also criticals. So all of this has a nice synergy together, and my tank lasts a long time. And it really screws people in PvP too, because if my tank gets into a team and like has them surrounding him, he would just causes so much damage to them over time. It's really, really good. I love it. So pretty much right here, you put all the skills into this bracket or this little grid right here, and you don't necessarily have to stick with all of this. Say if I want to say, you know what, I want to go a little bit more tanky, so we'll start with just ultimate, which I only have one of, so we can just use that. Okay, so say I want to be a little bit more tanky. Here we go right here with plan 2. Right here, see, I was in plan 1. So now we're in plan 2. And if I want to just go ahead and go with a little bit more of, let's see, we throw out a magic shield right there. Arrogance, again, I don't like it when they don't actually do any type of damage and it's just pulling you all in. Then we head over here. Now, we already have these skills that I can't really change out of, but remember, we're going a little bit more tanky, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to go into passives. Now, I can go more tanky at the cost of healing because I have Mecha Heart. And what Mecha Heart basically does is increase your elemental resistance, but it lowers your healing that you receive. I didn't like that because it doesn't work well with some of my other passives, so I just... As soon as I got a chance to, I got the boiling blood, I took that out. It didn't work well with everything. But that's how you see, you don't necessarily have to go with one particular build. You can have 3 different builds if you want to. You can go for more of a more tanky, or if I wanted to say F it, because there's actually DPS stuff that you can do with all of this, and just go like raw DPS and just go on that. There's there's people that you can pick up that actually do that. So you're going to be like, well, how does that happen? We're going to go back out and go into allies and filter. I'll show you all my guardians. All right, so what you want to do over the course of time is you want to build bonds with characters so you can have their skills. So Gillian was like probably the best tank, probably not so much now. I think the MC is the best tank now. If you want to have a tier, your main character is probably the best tank now. It wasn't like that before. Gillian was probably better, but yeah. So you go into your bonds and you notice right here that they have 4 different bonds that they can pick up, that you can pick up rather. So you see the first one right here is Armor Master, which I already have. Second one right here is Barrier for the next 10 seconds, block increase. Again, no damage on that, so I probably wouldn't even do that. Third one is Conjure Rotating Energy, damage received within the next 20 seconds decreases. This is more or less if you want to go for a more tanky type of build and less about damage and just take like almost no damage at all, which is actually a pretty good thing. If you're overmatched, I would do something like, I would change to a build like this, to be honest with you. If I'm overmatched and I'm taking so much damage that stuff that my synergy is just not working for me, I would probably do something like this because it would probably work out better and you would probably take almost no damage. As long as you just need to have like a taunt. So I would have something out there like just a taunt just to keep the damage on me and then be in a really good place. And then this one is Recovery Block, which is actually really good. It will be a good synergy for my build I have right now. Each successful block restores 1.5% of max HP over 4 seconds. Now that's super great. Like I said, it'll work really well with the block build that I have going on right now. And, you know, it just gives you some interesting stuff to do. In order to actually do this right now, you have to build bond. Right now, I have no idea what is going on with the bond system. Different people saying different things. All I know right now is that it doesn't work when I send the items. And I was told that you need to send a certain item, but there's no way of really knowing what that certain item is. And certain things here are red. Obviously, you don't send anything with a broken heart, but certain things are red. So I'm not really sure right now what to do about the bond system. So I'm just with the character that I'm just gonna have out there is just Titan Soul because I need him for his ultimate. I'll show you his bond. His last bond gives you Spirit Rain, and you see it deals a large amount of thunder damage and shackle right here. Now it's not as great as the magic rings, but I just want the overall damage because I seen the damage on my PvP fight, and it did a big chunk to me, a big massive chunk. I was like, down with that damage right there. That's good for a tank to actually have, so that's good. Again, you just want to go ahead and go down the line and build all this up. So you see physique, I already have that already. Thunder Strike, which is pretty good. I might actually pick this up and change over to that when I build it. Chain Reaction, this I've seen this before. This is a better aggro pull than the other taunt, but again, doesn't do any damage and just pulls people in. And then of course Spirit Rain. Now if you go through all these characters, they have different things like that, and again he pretty much has the same type of thing, but it's kind of cool because this one kind of locks them in to a place with you, so they can't move out of it, and they're taking damage inside of that like that. Like I think that like is pretty lit. So I'm just gonna try to get all of this stuff because it's gonna be pretty fun to have all this stuff and just change it up. If you get tired of a skill, just change to another skill. You get tired of doing this, like it's really good. Like it's one that, like I think people are really sleeping on. This is literally like the most fun in this game right now. And you see this one, ultimate right here. She has a hurricane, which she conjures a water storm that deals large amounts of damage. All the targets in the area draws them to the center, which is pretty good again for tanking, and slows them down so they can't move out of the center like that. It's good for PvP too when you want to drag people in. And this has a very short cooldown of 39 seconds. Let's see if anybody else has anything. Ultimate. I don't think that the lower level characters have it like that. Pretty sure they don't. I think they just have passives and skills that they have that they can bring in. Yeah, I think that's how they roll. But that's all I could really do for right now. I think I maxed her too. Yeah, she's the first tank that you get. That's the thing. And I don't think he has one either. That is a guy. 100% a guy, just so you guys know. But this is where I got the boiling blood from. So if you're a tank, you're gonna need to look at this trap. Oh, whatever. So yeah. So that's my build, and you can pretty much do that in any class. You don't necessarily have to like anything that you want to build, or like any let's change it up to something else. Let's change it to, let's say you want Ranger. You have really good Ranger stuff. I don't really have really good Rangers. I only have Natalia, who's already maxed out and deployed, and I already have all of her stuff pretty much built up already. So I have her ultimate Dark Tornado. Like I have all her stuff right here. Really good. But she's a bae. I ain't taking her out anyway, so she can stay there. However, say I want to go Sorcerer. Sorcerer, I have 3 SSRs, and all of them are pretty bonded and leveled, and I have all of their skills. Like I have the ultimates. I don't have Newton's, but enough. But Newton's actually pretty close. I do have Newton's. Yeah. So she actually gets nuclear catastrophe. I figured that I had everything, which kind of like slows down. So if I really wanted, I was gonna do that. If I really wanted to go caster, I can, because I got a good set of stuff right here. I got all this stuff. I got her ult too. Judgment deals a large amount of damage, and it does a lot of that. Large, it should say massive, because it does a lot of damage. And on top of that, it roots Like, can you imagine doing something, smacking people that hard, and then they can't move after that? So just smack them again. Like, and then 35-second on the cooldown on top of that. Like, you can just come up with some really good stuff. I got cheerful talk as well. Thunderhorn deals small amount of damage to single target. Occasionally, lightning will strike 2 times. Like, this is super good. And then the passive converts the thunder resistance from equipment into all resistance. So whatever thunder resistance that you have on there, like, you put it into everything, so you can kind of resist everything at the same time. Like, you can just make some really good builds, man. Then Athena, if I want some damage over time, I can roll out with Athena. Increase red phase effect, which is pretty good. Makes her all the Fey damage even higher. Converts 15% of fire resistance. She has the same type of thing right here. Crit damage greatly increase, which is also good. You can throw that in there on your build too. And then she has Inferno. Burns enemies, dealing continuous fire damage and reducing fire resistance lasts 5 seconds. The skill cannot be dodged. Like, ridiculous. Especially, you ever have those fights. It's super annoying. Those fights where they're super tanky, and then on top of that, they're super dodgy. You get this skill and just nuke them with this. It lasts for 5 seconds. It has a cooldown, so it's only down 9 seconds in between that. So you're gonna burn them doing all that, and then on top of that, you can bring in anything else as well. If you have a secondary character, like maybe an archer who has the 100% accuracy hat on, like I have that on my Daria for PvP. I just keep it on her regardless, and just made her a little bit more tanky, so she could take some hits, and she just murders all of those dodge people. It's super hilarious. Like, dodge teams I don't even care about anymore. She single-handedly kills them. So yeah. So I hope I gave you guys some ideas, you know, like whatever character that you want to make your main character, whether you want to be a guardian, a chancer, like a sorcerer or warrior, whatever else. It's really, I guess you could say, beneficial depending on what your SSRs were and maxing those SSRs so you can get the most out of that class and roll with it. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Again, like and subscribe, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. Be legendary, and hope to see you soon.